Part 2. Luke. Chapter 5.
The skiff Mudsloth was outbound in real space from Lukaszek at top speed, which, considering it was a Verpine adventurer, was not enough to satisfy Akana.
Luke, can't you make it go faster?
How exactly? Should I get out and push?
Why, yes. Can't you use the Force to speed us up?
You will need a lever and a place to stand.
Luke said wryly.
The Force isn't a magic wand. There are limits.
All limits exist in the mind, not the universe.
Akana said.
I'm surprised your tutors never taught you that.
Luke shook his head.
Obi-Wan and Yoda both taught me to see that we limit ourselves by not trying and sabotage ourselves by believing we'll fail.
Then why do you...
But even Obi-Wan, in our worst moments, with millions of lives hanging in the balance, couldn't make the Falcon go any faster.
He gestured at the navigational display.
Besides, it looks like no one's taken enough interest in our departure to try to follow.
They don't need to yet,
said Akana.
We're days from clearing the flight control zone, aren't we?
Luke glanced down at the controls.
3 days, more or less.
Then they can just watch us for now. Let us think we're away free and see where we're going. There aren't many ships that couldn't catch us before we reach the jump radius.
The agents who ambushed us are dead, and no one tried to stop us at the port. The flight controllers even gave us clearance without a peep. Look, the skies are empty. What will it take for me to make you feel safe?
I won't feel safe until we've found the Falinassi,
Akana said.
I can't bear the thought of failing. I've waited so long, and so have you. If anything should stop us this close to the end.
How close are we?
Luke asked.
What did the current writing we found back there say?
I already told you, it pointed the way home.
But you didn't tell me where that is.
I was afraid to say anything until we were away from there,
said Akana.
I couldn't risk having anyone else here.
We are alone right now,
Luke pointed out.
But they could have placed a listening device in the ship while we were on the North Plateau. I want to wait until we're in hyperspace. Then I know they won't be able to follow.
No one's been in the ship but us,
Luke said firmly.
And this isn't going to be much of a partnership if you're keeping secrets from me. Don't you trust me, Akana?
I know you to be a good man,
said Akana.
But some of what you do and believe makes me uncomfortable. In the long run, I have never known a warrior or a soldier to be a friend.
I'm not a soldier,
Luke said softly.
And the lightsaber now only comes to my hand to protect people I care about. Is that a warrior? Or would you call that a friend?
Akana was silent, looking down at her lap.
We have to go to Tyr,
she said at last.
The Circle may not have been able to stay there, but that is where they went from Lukaszek.
Tyr is, that way,
Luke said, pointing up and to the right.
More or less,
she said, and reached out to raise his arm slightly.
That's closer. I was planning on a double jump, in case anyone is thinking about following us.
Luke nodded his approval.
Isn't that one of the worlds the children were sent to, right?
Yes,
she said.
Didn't you say you had already been there looking for them?
No, I said I couldn't find them there.
Akana corrected.
I was never able to make the journey. I made inquiries from Karados when I could.
She looked up then.
But the Falinassi change names, styles of dress, habits of speech, even the way we groom our hair, to blend in, to disappear. Unless I can be face to face with them, exchange the signs, let them feel me beside them in the current, they would not reveal themselves, out of fear that I was not what I seemed to be.
Do you think they're still hiding?
After what just happened, can you not say we have reason?
Luke nodded.
I think we need to talk about what just happened.
So do I,
she said. Her eyes flashed darkly.
But I would prefer not to have that conversation with an Imperial interrogation team. Can't you do something so we can jump out of here sooner rather than later?
I don't really want to. I think so far we've managed to slip out of here without attracting any special attention,
Luke said.
But if we suddenly blast out of a flight control zone, especially in this bucket, we're going to go right to the top of the alert list. And when we arrive at Tyr, they're going to insist on talking to us. They might even insist on inspecting our ship and pulling its license.
I had not thought of that.
She said, frowning.
But what if you're wrong? And 6 hours from now, an Imperial warship comes out from behind Lukaszek, or drops out of hyperspace in front of us. Wouldn't you like...
To be able to show them our tail? Yes.
He squeezed his eyes shut as though trying to visualize something without distractions.
Maybe there's a way to do this without getting near the motivator. What do you have for tools around here?
I'm not sure. I thought you would use the Force somehow.
She said.
Bend a contact or break a trace.
Luke shook his head.
You have to know exactly how something's put together before you try that sort of trick. And I've never even had my hands inside the access panel of an adventurer.
You're destroying all my illusions about the all-powerful Jedi.
Akana said with a hint of a smile. Laughing lightly, Luke climbed out of the pilot's seat.
The truth is that most of the time the Force is no substitute for a tech droid or a toolkit. And I've never known a Jedi who wanted it to get around that he could fix broken appliances.
Her smile broadened at that.
Did you get a key to the equipment bay when you bought this thing?
No.
She said, suddenly worried.
It's all right.
Luke said, touching her shoulder as he slipped by her.
I can handle an idiot lock without a toolkit. Stay here and keep an eye on the nav scanner. I'll see what I can do about giving us another option.
Luke sat on the edge of the open drive compartment, his feet dangling inside, just above the fuel pumps for the real space thrusters. It felt both strange and pleasantly familiar to be tinkering again. It took him back to the hot breezes of Tatooine, to surprisingly fond memories of his years in the Lars household.
Boys and machines.
He could hear his Aunt Beru saying with bemusement.
What is it about boys and machines?
His life then had consisted of little more than tinkering. The greater part, by far, of his chores on the farm had been trying to keep Uncle Owen's motley collection of second-hand droids and second-quality moisture evaporators running. After chores, Luke had invested his free time in coaxing a little more speed from the XP-30 land speeder he had rescued from the Anchorhead salvage yard, and tweaking the performance of the family's T-16 Skyhopper for those races in Beggar's Canyon. Teenage impatience had made him view Tatooine as a wasteland, and the farm as a prison. But that world looked better seen through a filter of time and experience, and he realized belatedly just how much he had enjoyed those hours with his head and hands inside an engine service panel in a simple, knowable world of which he was the master.
You look happy,
said Akana softly. She had returned from the flight deck without his noticing.
I am,
he said, twisting and looking up at her. It was a surprising discovery. She nodded toward the drive.
Do you think you'll be able to fix it? Or break it? I suppose that's more descriptive.
It's already done,
he said.
It wasn't that hard once I got into it. The lockout doesn't go into the drive at all. It's here at the nav controller, see? If it doesn't get a signal from the FCZ interface, the controller can't enable the drive.
He saw her expression and stopped himself.
Anyway, I'm just studying up for the next problem now.
Already done? That's wonderful,
she said.
I'm terribly impressed. I've never had so much as a single home tech course, and when I look down in there, I have no idea what I'm seeing. You could probably tell,
she added.
Well, we should test it before we need it. Oh, By the way, I need to know if any of these things were important.
He said, letting a small handful of metal plugs, clips, and wires cascade to the deck plate. When he saw the sudden alarm in her eyes, he laughed and quickly said,
Haha, I'm just kidding. Well, about the parts, anyway. We should test it, though. I was thinking we could jump out just a little early. Even 15 minutes would be enough.
What about the alert list?
The boundary of the FCZ isn't a hard line. There's a yellow zone. We can jump out of there without attracting any attention, but it'll still be a fair test. I'm sure it'll work, though.
So you do fix appliances?
She said mischievously, sitting on the deck in a spill of skirt.
What were you thinking about when I came in?
Home.
He said simply. She settled back against a wiring panel.
It's funny. I spent most of my life on Karados, but home always means Lukaszek to me.
Tatooine.
Luke supplied.
Which I always had said was a better place to be from than to be. I'm not so sure about that now.
Almost all of my memories from Yaltra are good ones.
Akana said.
I suppose that's one reason what you did there upsets me so much. Now I have that memory too, and I would rather not.
At least you're here to have it.
Luke said.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to feel guilty about saving you.
What about killing those two men? Do you feel anything about that?
One of them actually killed himself.
Luke said, pulling his feet up out of the hatchway and turning to face it.
Commander Paffin.
Luke nodded.
He said something about poison, remember? I didn't want him dead. I was trying to question him.
And the other? The one you eviscerated with your lightsaber? Were you trying to kill him?
He had a personal shield.
Luke said.
It takes a lot of force to get through one, and when your blade does pop through, it's hard to stop it before it does a lot of damage.
I understand. Were you trying to kill him?
Didn't I just answer that?
I don't think so.
She said with a shy smile. Luke eased himself back against the bulkhead on his side of the compartment.
I guess the truth is that at that moment, I wasn't particularly worried about whether I killed him or not.
She shook her head slowly.
That is so hard for me to understand. How you could not be aware of the power in your hands.
The only power that mattered to me was the power to protect you from them,
said Luke.
You told me afterward that you weren't in any danger, but that was not how it looked.
Yes,
said Akana.
I understand that. But Luke, there's something I must ask of you, that you never again kill to save me. I am glad that you cared about me, but it makes my heart sick, my spirit heavy, to have the screams and the blood of those men in my memory, in the ruins of a place that I loved.
I don't know if I can make you that promise,
Luke said.
I have my own conscience to satisfy, and sometimes it demands that I fight for my friends.
That you kill for your friends?
Only when it's necessary.
Is that how you see the Jedi? Are they ready to kill to protect their friends on Coruscant?
Luke's gaze narrowed.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to understand.
Akana said.
I want to know what your Jedi mean to the New Republic, and what the New Republic means to you. Are you training the Jedi Knights to be Coruscant's warrior elite? What are you willing to do when the Commander-in-Chief calls on you?
That isn't the way it works,
Luke said.
Leia doesn't give orders to the Jedi. She can ask us for help, one of us or all of us, but we can refuse, and sometimes do.
But the Republic supports your academy. You had a military spacecraft in your hangar. Can you really afford to offend them?
The Jedi are not mercenaries,
Luke said, an edge in his voice.
When we fight, it's an individual choice, and it's in defense of the principles of our creed. Coruscant supports the Academy because the memory of the Jedi is a powerful force for stability. Our presence is what they want most.
That's the part of the tradition that concerns me,
said Akana.
The guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic for 1,000 generations, or so the legend has it. But if you cannot have both peace and justice, which will you choose?
Which would you have me choose?
I would choose for you to keep your great gifts beyond the reach of politicians and generals.
She said.
For you to owe them no debts and take on no causes.
I've been careful to protect our independence,
Said Luke.
despite appearances.
You aren't sworn to uphold the government on Coruscant? You've taken no oaths of allegiance?
No, only those few who've chosen to serve in the fleet or the ministries. It's not forbidden, but it's not common. The Jedi are not the Republican Guard, and never will be.
That's something at least.
She said.
But how much better it would be if the most powerful symbol of your order, the very emblem of that long tradition, was something other than a deadly weapon.
We didn't ask for that.
Luke said.
It just happened. Old weapons have a cachet.
All weapons have a cachet.
Said Akana with sorrow.
Too many men want to either conquer the world or change the world. The second is nearly as dangerous to living things as the first. Can you tell me why is it not enough to find a safe and comfortable place in the world, or, at worst, to find shelter from the world?
Luke frowned.
No, I can't.
He nodded toward the workbay.
But I can tell you how to disable the FCZ lockout on a Verpine adventurer, which I couldn't have told you this morning. Maybe tomorrow I'll figure out something else.
She smiled ruefully at him.
I guess that will have to do for now.
In the end, 3 days of watching the nav scanner like a nervous mouse watching for the predator in the dark yielded only a handful of wholly innocent contacts. No warships appeared, and the few private and commercial craft that left Lukaszak after them or passed the mud sloth inbound took no apparent interest in the little skiff.
Whoever Commander Paffin was reporting to must have been far enough away that his controller simply wrote him off,
Luke said, leaning forward over the controls.
But they'll be looking for us everywhere now.
Said Akana from behind.
For you in particular.
Looking and finding are two different things. I've had to make a habit of disguising myself in public just to be left alone, to go where I please without being gawked at.
Luke said.
How do you do that?
Oh, I make myself look older where youth is honored and younger where age is honored. Female where males are the ones who strut, male where they aren't. It's the nearest thing there is to being invisible, being unattractive.
Show me.
Akana saw his shoulders rise and fall, heard the deep breath that came out almost as a sigh. When he turned his couch toward her and looked up, she saw a 60-year-old face that reminded her at once of everyone and no one. The eyes were unguarded but vacant, the expression open but bland. There was nothing distinctive about his features, nothing at all to remember him by or for.
Very good,
she said.
May I try something?
He gestured silently with open hands. Drawing a shuddery breath, Akana closed her eyes and moved the focus of her senses behind where Luke seemed to be, groping for an anchor in what was real. When she found it, she opened her eyes again and blew away the illusion with the soft breath of disbelief.
There you are,
she said, and smiled.
Very good,
he echoed.
It takes a strong mind to penetrate the illusion.
I wanted to make certain I could find you if we had to separate on tier. Do you change your voice too?
I can, but it requires more concentration because the ear isn't as easily fooled. I'm not sure why that is, but it is, well, with humans anyway. Speaking of tier, we're now in the yellow zone.
Is it safe to jump out now?
I don't see why not,
said Luke.
And we'll pick up almost an hour jumping from this point. That's assuming that I didn't break more than I meant to back there.
She smiled.
Let's find out.
Let's,
he said, turning back to the controls.
Do you still want to make a misdirection jump, or shall we go directly to Tyr?
I still want to.
Akana said, letting one hand settle lightly on his shoulder.
Someone could still be watching us from Lukaszek. So only a short one, please. I want to get to Tyr as soon as we possibly can. I just know that we'll find something more than ruins there.
Her touch caught Luke momentarily unguarded and made her mind open to his as well. He felt the barely restrained urgency of her need for reunion, the brightness of her hope, the depth of her anxious fears.
Well, you had better strap in then, just in case,
he said. The jump out was reassuringly uneventful. By the time the Mud Sloth would have been released from the FCZ, it had already completed its first jump and turned to the heading for Tyr. Then there was time to think, in the quiet, undisturbed hours, while Akana slept and nothing could touch them. Luke thought most about the Ultra, returning to his mother's dusty, crumbling cottage, searching his sense memories again for her presence. Luke knew he would have to return there when it was safe to do so, and wondered if something should be done to preserve the site. He wondered how the authorities on Lukaszek would react if he asked them to protect his mother's one-time home. If the burned-out ruin of the Lars farm could be rebuilt as a historic monument, perhaps the ruins of the Ultra could be rescued from a hostile neglect by the Skywalker name. Perhaps the reputation of those who had been driven from there could even be rehabilitated. But that would have to come later, when there were fewer secrets to protect. For now, Luke would have to count on the shame of the Falanasi to shield the Ultra from being further disturbed.
Let the Nakhons take the bodies,
he thought,
and the shadows keep Yeltra undisturbed. Let her memories sleep until I can return to awaken them.
When Luke heard Akana moving in the bunk behind him, he planted a bare foot on the control console and pushed off, spinning the couch around to face aft.
Hey, are you awake?
It's hard to sleep.
She said, invisible behind the privacy curtain.
Perhaps we should change places.
Luke looked back over his shoulder at the displays.
It's only 2 hours now until the end of the jump,
he said.
And there'll be plenty of chances for me to rest up during the slow crawl to Tyr.
Couldn't we use your military waiver now that you've disconnected the interlock? We could micro-jump right in, couldn't we?
Luke's surprised laugh was a loud noise in the confined space.
Not in this bucket. The navigator won't take micro-jump parameters. And even if it would, chances are the resonances would shake her to pieces. There's an entry shock wave in hyperspace, and when you micro-jump, you have to let it catch you just when it's at its strongest. Unfortunately, we'd arrive at Tyr as a bright smudge in the sky.
Oh,
she said.
But we could have jumped all the way in if we'd planned to, back at the last waypoint.
Right. If we were willing to answer all the questions and deal with the extra attention. I hate the crawl as much as you do, but trust me, this is better.
Akana sighed.
I'll try to sleep then. It's the easy way to make the time pass.
Good luck,
he said, and started to turn back to the console. Then he realized it had almost happened again. The conversation he had started for a specific purpose had wandered away and disappeared before he could get to his question.
Akana?
Yes?
Before you fall asleep, there's something I've been wondering about.
What is it?
Back at Yaltra, was there a date in that message you found?
A date? No.
Could you tell how long it had been there? Maybe this scribing fades with time or something like that.
No, not if it's done well. I can't tell you when the message was left, except that I'm sure it was left before the Falanasi left Lukaszek. Why?
I'm wondering how two Imperial agents could hide for so long in a place where everyone knows everyone else, and nothing changes very quickly.
Luke said.
I even wonder why they would.
Why? Because they still want us, want the white current as a weapon.
But why would they think anyone would be coming back there? Why would they be expecting you?
She was quiet for a time.
I've been asking questions for a long time, trying to find the circle,
She said.
I haven't always been as careful as I should have been, either in what I asked or who I asked.
Who did you tell that you were planning to go to Lukaszek?
Only you.
She said.
But I did try sending messages to the circle to Wialu. I talked to the customs and immigration office on Lukaszek. I applied for every Starliner job posted on Karados, hoping to get a working passage. I checked open ticket prices constantly, every time new rates were posted.
So people started to know who you were and something about what you were interested in.
More than that,
she said.
I made rather a pest of myself. I hung around the spaceport dives when a ship came in, hoping the crews might know something. I found ways of getting passenger lists. I talked to everyone I could who might know anything.
So people started to know who you were and something about what you were interested in.
It wasn't until later that I thought to be more discreet.
The people you'd been left with,
I didn't get any help from them.
She said.
They forbade me to speak to them about the circle and punished me for looking for my own.
they must have been afraid for you. Maybe for themselves, too. They were supposed to hide you, weren't they? And you refused to stay hidden.
It's easier to understand than it is to forgive,
she said.
They kept me from being where I belonged. I cannot forgive that until I find the circle again. If I never do, I don't think I can ever forgive her.
Her?
Talsava,
She said.
my guardian on Karados. But if I start talking about her now, I'll never get to sleep.
All right.
He said.
Sorry.
You didn't know.
Said Akana.
I'll tell you about it sometime.
When you're ready.
He thought that had ended the conversation. He heard Akana changing position and pictured her lying on her side, her head on her folded arms. He was surprised when she spoke his name.
What is it?
What do you think the chances are that someone will be looking for us on Tyr?
Greater than 0.
Luke said.
But we'll be careful. Go to sleep now.
She did not argue or answer, and Luke lapsed into silence as well, wondering why he felt as though none of his questions had been answered, and the most important ones had never been asked at all. Where Lukaszak was rustic, Tyr was bureaucratic. Located near the juncture of 3 busy spaceways and wearing a spectacular 4,000-kilometer-long canyon like a dueling scar, Tyr was one of the New Republic's boom worlds. Most of the boom was in visitors and vacationers. Fearing unbridled growth, Tyr's leaders purposefully discouraged would-be immigrants with a maze of regulations, a series of successively higher application hurdles, and a determinedly officious Citizen Services Corps. The unofficial tourism motto was,
"Come see Spectacular Tear Rift, then go home."
While still inbound, Luke and Dakana were offered the unattractive choice of parking their craft at one of the vast orbital parking areas and shuttling down to the surface, or paying 4 times as much in landing fees to bring the skiff down at a spaceport of Tyr's choosing.
I don't like the idea of being down there and having to depend on third parties to get back to our ship up here.
Luke said.
If someone should decide they want to delay our departure, I like our chances better if we don't have to jump quite so high.
But I don't have that kind of money, Luke.
Said Akana.
You know that.
I think Lee Ston is good for it.
Luke said. He flashed a wry smile that disappeared behind his illusion of age, then tapped the comm key.
Tyr Flight Control. This is Mudsloth. I'd like to request landing authorization.
Copy. Mudsloth, your queue number is Alpha 39. Confirm.
Confirm Alpha 39.
Luke said.
Could you tell me, is there any chance that we could possibly put down a Turos Noth? We're going to be meeting some friends.
Landing sites are allocated on a space-available basis according to standard protocols. Ground transportation is available at all spaceports. The Rift Skyrail connects all spaceports with all major population centers and with visitor centers, trailheads, and resort destinations in the Rift territory. Monitor this channel for further landing instructions. This is Tier Flight Control, end transmission.
Luke and Dakina exchanged bemused looks.
They wouldn't have dared give Luke Skywalker number 39,
she said.
Too bad he couldn't join us for this trip.
Luke said, allowing his disguise to dissolve.
I wonder how many times per shift they have to recite that.
Dakina said.
I don't think they care,
said Luke, then explained.
It was a droid. I couldn't touch it.
He nodded past Dakina.
Are any of the stuffed Koba left? I think we might have time to eat before the skids get dirty.
As Luke had suspected, there was more than enough time. Following directions from flight control, Mudsloth joined a long queue of yachts and liners in a high orbit over Tyr. 6 full revolutions later, they were still there, though most of the ships in front of them, and several behind them as well, had already made their descent and been replaced by newer arrivals.
Nice view,
Dakina said.
Do you think they'll ever let us any closer?
No,
said Luke.
I knew we should have told them we had 82 paying customers aboard, all eager to start shopping.
82?
She said, raising an eyebrow skeptically.
Ewoks,
Luke said, shrugging.
You should see the way they really live. It's nothing like you see in the hollows. 24 to a room, stacked in layers, boy, girl, boy, girl.
You've been in space too long,
she said with a disapproving frown.
Maybe we didn't hear our call.
IQ number Alpha 81, proceed to approach.
81.
Dakina exclaimed indignantly.
Why is everyone going before us?
Because whatever kind of priority list they're using, they put people who own Verpine adventurers at the bottom of it,
Luke said.
Will you please stop making jokes?
Sometimes there's no other recourse,
said Luke.
What happened to your implacable calm?
This is making me crazy,
Dakina said.
I can tell.
Can't we just disguise ourselves as some other ship and take its landing instructions?
There's a little problem about 2 objects occupying the same space at the same time.
Luke!
The tone of her voice made him look toward her. He saw anguish on her face, anxiety in her pleading eyes.
Do you think they might be holding us up here until they can get everything ready to grab us? Or follow us?
Please do something, her expression cried.
No,
Luke said, and reached across to touch her hand.
Tyr runs the shuttles themselves, and the space lines have contracts with Tyr for priority landing access. They get to go first. We get to wait for an opening. It's all right. They're treating us the way we want them to. No special treatment, no special notice. They'll get around to us soon. They want our money too.
DQ number Alpha 39, proceed to approach corridor for landing at Pry-Folus.
There, see?
He squeezed her hand reassuringly, then moved his own hands back to the flight controls. Relief was evident on her face.
Pry-Folus, that's good. It's a long way from the rift, but that doesn't matter to us. It's only 1 stop east of Turos Noth.
I'm glad someone studied their geography,
Luke said.
Snug up those straps, Lady Anna. Did you know that most crashes take place within 60 seconds of liftoff or touchdown?
She frowned crossly at him.
Did you really need to tell me that?
I think I did.
Luke said, firing the braking thrusters to drop the skiff out of her parking lot.
You seem to have needed something to worry about. I thought it might as well be something real.
He looked sideways at her and grinned.
One way or another, we'll be on the ground in 10 minutes.
You think this is helping, don't you?
It's just my way of saying, relax.
I can't.
She said with a nervous sigh.
I've been waiting too long. I have too much at stake.
Luke nodded understandingly.
In that case, I promise to try for the soft landing.
For just a moment, he thought Akana was going to punch him. Luke's landing at Pryfolis was better than soft. It was flawlessly smooth, the kind pilots call a first kiss. It also put Mudsloth right back in a line, this time the long taxi line leading to the vast field of open-air, tie-down berths. Tyr's exorbitant landing fee didn't buy Lee Ston a spot in a docking bay or even secure covered stowage for his ship.
One good storm, and the shipbuilding trade has a record year next year.
Luke said, surveying the expansive and expensive assortment of vessels. When the tow droid finally reached the assigned berth and backed Mudsloth into its space, its port wing nestled under the thrust pods of a big, tall-tack Starstream. The port manager's official voice, another droid, came over the open channel.
Welcome to Pryfolis. In order to help ensure the safety of all visitors to Tyr, port regulations forbid occupancy of vessels in the tie-down berths.
The droid said.
Please remove whatever personal articles you will need during your stay and seal your vessel, then wait for the arrival shuttle. In order to help ensure the safety of your vessel, access to this parking area is limited to arriving and departing visitors. This area is patrolled by port security. Thank you for including Tyr in your travel plans.
I am ready,
Akana said impatiently. Luke powered down the skiff's primary bus.
Let me grab my bag and put on my face.
The arrival shuttle, a low-riding, slow-moving land speeder, was piloted by still another late-model droid. Akana and Luke caught two of the last three open seats, and the third was taken by the Ilaman, who emerged from the airspeeder parked across the towpath from Mudsloth. When the shuttle was full, it rose several meters above the ground and sped off in the direction of the terminal. An empty shuttle immediately moved in to take its place.
Quite an operation, don't you think, dear?
Luke said. The voice of Lee Ston had a little tremble, a little added huskiness.
When you see this many droids, you know someone's doing well.
Akana seemed inhibited by the other travelers close around them. The Ilaman, immediately to her right, towered over her by more than a head. She answered only with a glance and a polite smile. Luke patted her hand reassuringly.
I know you don't like open land speeders, but we're almost there. Look, you can see the track for the Rift Skyrail. The guidebook said it's the fastest above-ground train in 5 sectors.
The last hurdle was arrival screening. Another line, a droid greeter, an IRR screening for their bags, a discreet security sweep of their persons, and 3 questions from a human examiner who had much the same demeanor as the district censor on Lucasville.
How long do you plan to stay on Tyr?
We're not sure, are we, dear?
Luke asked.
How long does it take to really see the Rift at its best? Our reservation is only for 3 days, but we're hoping that we can extend it now that we're here.
3 days.
The examiner repeated.
Are you now, or have you recently been infected with any transmissible Class B or Class C agent?
No.
Luke Lee said, smiling at Akana.
We're fit as can be. I just hate to travel when I'm sick, don't you?
Do you have in your possession any lethal weapons, prescribed drugs, unlicensed technology, or other articles in violation of the General Visitor Agreement?
Oh, gracious, no.
Luke said.
We're here to have fun.
The examiner passed 2 traveler's aid cards through an encoder.
Welcome to Tyr.
He said, handing the cards to Akana.
Enjoy your stay with us.
Between the Pryfola spaceport terminal and the Skyrail station was the broad green expanse of Welcome Park. Luke and Akana stopped at the first open bench they spotted, tucking their bags protectively behind their feet.
I think we're finally officially here,
Luke said.
How are you doing?
It's not what I expected,
said Akana, looking around. Luke held out a palm.
Let me see that,
he said, nodding toward the traveler's aid cards Akana still clutched in her hand. Distractedly, Akana handed one of the cards to Luke, who began to study it. The card had a tiny display screen that took up half of one side, with some universal symbol command keys below. On the back was a line drawing of the structure that stood at the center of the park, a ring of more than 100 small kiosks surrounding a 2-story high carousel display.
I have to go do a leased-on thing,
said Luke.
Stay here. I'll be right back.
When Luke got closer to the structure, he could see that the band at the top of the carousel said Visitor Information Center in Basic and several other common languages. There were short lines of people waiting at every kiosk for a chance to select their areas of interest and have that information transferred to the cards, where they could browse it at their leisure. While they waited, most looked up at the carousel display, which was offering colorful 1-minute documentaries on the geology of the rift, the building of the Skyrail, and the shopping opportunities in Pryfolas.
A pickpocket's paradise,
Luke muttered and turned away. Just then, Luke felt the momentary tickle in his senses that meant he was being watched. He scanned the park carefully as he returned to the bench where Akana sat, but the feeling did not return, and nothing he saw raised his alarm.
I need to know what region will...
He stopped as he saw that she was struggling against tears, her eyes far away and forlorn.
Hey, what's wrong?
Everything is wrong,
she said.
I just know they're not here.
Luke sat down sideways beside her.
Why? Did you think you'd be able to feel them, and you can't?
She was not too upset to be indignant.
No, we're not that careless to broadcast our presence, even on the current.
Then what's the matter?
I told you, everything is wrong.
She shook her head sadly.
This isn't our kind of world. It's everything we're trying not to be. It's too crowded, too loud, too organized and artificial. If they were ever here, they would not have stayed very long.
Bowing her head, she began to sob quietly.
It's too late. It took me too long to get here.
Edging closer, Luke drew her into a comforting embrace, brushing away the worst of her despair with caressing thoughts.
But you don't know that,
he said.
It's too soon to be giving up. Come on, where do we start?
Akana rested her head on his shoulder.
I'm sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of being invisible.
No one cares,
Luke said.
No one's watching. All these people have tunnel vision. All they can see right now are their own plans and their own worries and hopes. They're all eager for confirmation that this really will be the vacation of a lifetime.
Raising her head, Akana sought confirmation of his words.
On Karados, everyone notices public tears,
she said, wiping her cheeks.
Now my ears are expecting to hear their ridicule.
Looks like you'll have to do without this time,
he said.
So, where do we start? Who are we looking for?
The city of Grian,
she said.
It's in what they call the Greenbelt region. That's where they were taken. Jibjala, Novus, Topanga, and Narika. The first 3 are boys,
she added.
Novus is Twi'lek, the others are human.
Okay. Let's go see what the machines can tell us about Grianne,
Luke said, reaching down and shouldering both bags. As they stood in line for an information kiosk, Akana's mood seemed to brighten, as though she were absorbing some of the joyful energy around her. But Luke again felt someone's curiosity as a sudden shiver, as if someone had lightly touched his face, trying to recognize him. Looking back across Welcome Park on a pretense of casual crowd watching, Luke focused in on the tall, slender form of an Elaman male, already turning his horned face away. Luke watched his quarry move aloofly through the gathering until it disappeared behind the curve of the information center. But the Elaman never glanced his way again.
You're getting twitchy, Luke,
Told himself. There's no way that an Elaman would be working for Imperial Intelligence. But the fact that an Elaman, perhaps this same one, had parked an airspeeder directly across from Mudsloth would not leave his awareness, and the noise and the bustle of the crowd in the park suddenly seemed less a joyful party and more a potentially deadly distraction.
Maybe they were holding us up for a reason, Akana.
Luke thought worriedly, patting the bulge of his lightsaber along his thigh to reassure himself that it was there. But though he stayed protectively close, Luke said nothing to Akana beyond the kind of inconsequential chatter a couple as accustomed to each other as they were to traveling might share while waiting in line.
There's something here that I still don't understand. Some question I've failed to ask.
He shook his head in annoyance, with such vigor that Akana noticed.
Is something wrong?
She asked.
Oh, I've just done it again, that's all,
Said Lee Ston.
The lines on either side are moving faster than ours. I shouldn't ever pick. You pick the line next time, all right?
She slipped her hand into his.
Be patient, dear.
She said with an affectionate smile.
We're almost there, and maybe this will be the last line we have to stand in.
Someone behind them chuckled deeply.
Ha ha, this is your first time on tier, isn't it?
The stranger called out.
You haven't seen anything yet. Wait until you get near the rift.
Oh, it will be worth it, I'm sure.
Akana said brightly, tightening her grip on Luke's hand.
I just know it will be worth the wait.